This preview brought to you by Harness Racing Victoria.
Adam Hamilton joining you to have a look at this Melton program tonight. We've got a really good seventh race coming up tonight for some of the fast-class pacers. One of the best mares in Australia, Bella's Delight, is second up from a spell from barrier 1. We've got Jada's Son resuming in the race. He hasn't raced for about 16 months, but boy oh boy, he was very good in a recent Ballarat trial. And the one to beat in that race, I think one of the better bets of the night tonight, is a bet or punt. His 2 runs back from a spell have been tremendous. Now, he has been freshened up since finishing second to XL Stride in the Breeders' Crown Free-for-All. We'll talk a lot more about that soon. There's 9 races, the first of them at 5:45, and let's get straight into it. We've got some nice enough trotters going around in this opening event tonight, and I'm going to go with Brylan Crescent. Was absolutely flying earlier on this year. There's no question that this David Aiken trained trotter definitely went off the boil for a while. Form and manners started to let Brylan Crescent down, but most recent signs have been absolutely terrific. Loved the run when did all of the work sitting outside of the leader last start. Has good gate speed, and there's a tremendous chance that Brylan Crescent might be able to roll to the front here. Clearly the one to beat for mine. Number 2, Brylan Crescent. Number 7, Abbott's Hall, is racing in ultra-consistent form. The wide draws a bit of a concern over the short 17-20 metre trip because Abbott's Hall likes to be driven off the speed sit sprint, but quality-wise, Abbott's Hall's as good as any trotter in this race. Gold Star Invasion has got good gate speed, has been quite an enigma this preparation, but comes into contention from the nice draw barrier 3 over the short trip. And then next best, Don Keary. Certainly a good enough performance to win a couple of starts back. Has some sort of gate speed and would probably want to take a trail, you would think, even though it's a short trip. Ideally sitting on Brylan Crescent and looking to use the sprint lane in the run home. I'm going Brylan Crescent though with a fair bit of confidence in the first. 2 to beat 7, 3 and 1. Second event tonight all depends on one horse for mine, and it's Mr Sheedy. Emma Stewart and Clayton Tonkin, the Ballarat training force, have got a very strong hand in this meeting, and Mr Sheedy is the first of their really good winning chances. Now, his first run back from a spell last week was certainly a little bit disappointing for mine. He was bigger odds than I expected. Obviously there wasn't a lot of stable confidence around him, even though he'd been to the trials. He was okay. He made an early move in some pretty quick sectional times to get around and take the lead. I thought he would win when he led, but he was under pressure on the home turn and got a little bit tired late to run 6th. This is a race that anything like the best of Mr Sheedy, he would be far too good for these horses. Be brutally honest, most of these are not really going anywhere by way of making their way through the grades. He'll be fitter. 2 scratchings of numbers 1 and 5 means that he moves down to barrier 5. Maybe Michael Stanley will keep trying to push forward on him and get to the front. Mr Sheedy on top. It's a little bit of a D-Day for him in this company. Give Us a Grin now comes into the pole. Has gate speed, racing ultra consistently without winning. Thought the best roughie in the race was Naquiro. Good second at Shepparton 2 starts back, and then you can put the pen through last start, just never in a position to be able to assert itself into the race, and it'll be big odds. I think it's a value runner for your multiples here. Sterling Point's an interesting runner, dropping back in grade from a much stronger run in the Gamelite behind the immensely talented Chancellor Cullen last time out. Sterling Point, I think, looks relatively well graded. It is only a sprint trip though, and that's going to make it hard for him from outside of the back row. Mr Sheedy, on his best form or even anywhere near it, should be too good for them. I've gone 7, 2, 4 and 10 in race 2. Let's now have a look at this third race, and the reminder that the jackpot tonight is $10,000 on the Big Six. This next race we're going to look at is the first leg of the Big Six. If you want to get all of the opinions from the experts on Good Form, Andrew Evans, the new member of the Good Form team, and Jason Bonington will have their thoughts on Good Form. So you can check out all of their thoughts on the entire meeting, particularly on the Big Six tonight. Let's have a look at this opening leg for what it's worth, in my opinion, and this is the Claiming Masters final. I think anybody who saw the qualifying heats, both of them last week at Melton, would say, how are they going to beat Catch Your Breath? He's racing in absolutely fantastic form. He's been in and out of the claimers for probably about the last 2.5 years of his career. I'm not sure he's ever raced better than he is right now. Smudge Bromack was really good last week. Now, if you could swap their roles and give Smudge Bromack an easier run, then he would be some chance of turning the tables on Catch Your Breath. But in an ideal world, Smudge Bromack likes to be driven a bit quietly, even though in this class I don't think he'll be able to be driven that way. Catch Your Breath can do a lot of work and still be there, as last week showed. He rolled around, controlled the race, took the front and won easily. Smudge Bromack had to come and sit outside of him and battled it out really well. I think most people felt that was the stronger of the two heats. I liked Qatari Roland last week. He did the right thing by us. We were keen on him. He rolled to the front, controlled his race and won it really well. And his stablemate, Wash Me Pockets, ran on OK behind Smudge Bromack and Catch Your Breath. But in all honesty, on what we saw last week, Catch Your Breath is simply racing better than these horses. Smudge Bromack looks the only real chance to cause a minor upset tonight. 13 to beat 12, 11 and 10 in the Claiming Masters final. You can buy any of these horses. $10,000 to $50,000 is the range for their sale prices. Let's have a look now at race 4. This is the first leg of the quaddie tonight, second leg of the Big Six with that $10,000 jackpot. And this is a really nice race here. One where I think that a mare first up from a spell in Tara Top Lady could well be the one to beat. I'm going on her tremendous form last time in work. She's got a second to her stablemate Better Give It in a much better race than this. And I think if she's primed tonight by trainers Emma Stewart and Clayton Tonkin, I'll be talking a lot more about them on the way through in this preview, then Tara Top Lady will be hard to beat. Jamie Lee King taking the drive. She certainly makes the most of her opportunities for the Emma Stewart and Clayton Tonkin stable, and I'm going to go for Tara Top Lady. Despite the back row draw over the short trip, I think she'll be some sort of value and well worth a ticket tonight. Fairest One You Are. Now, Fairest One You Are, this mare has been racing in tremendous form this campaign. You've got to just temper it a little bit by saying the two most recent wins have been over there in easier company at Globe Derby. But Jeff Walker, Jodie Quinlan driving, they've got this mare in tremendous form. Confidence is high. She moves into barrier 3 with the scratching of number 1, L Jasper. For third, I'm putting in Miss Precious Mark. She really burst onto the scene when she came across from Auckland in New Zealand to be racing for the Jeff Webster stable. She hasn't quite gone on with this preparation, to be honest. She's got really good gate speed and the short trip will suit her racing style. And next best, number 3, Please Don't Talk for the Glenn Douglas stable. He's taking the drive as well tonight, Glenn. I've gone Tara Top Lady, the class mare of the race for mine, to beat 4 Fairest One You Are. Our Miss Precious Mark for third, and then number 3, 10, 4, 5 and 3 in race 4. Let's go to the 5th event now, and I'm a big fan of Al Arlington. Little bit disappointing when I sort of tipped him out as a value runner first up from a spell. Had a good sit in a harder race than this and just held his ground. Didn't really assert himself at the finish of the race. He's had another run since. It was good enough for mine. He's had the 2 runs back from a break. Should be ready to fire. Has the draw. Now comes into the pole. And will he have the gate speed to lead? Some chance he will. If not, there's a very good chance he'll be sitting behind the leader, and that would suit him equally as well. So I'm going to go for number 2, Al Arlington, starting from the pole here. Really like him now, third up from a spell. Should be around about that $5 mark, I'm hoping, tonight. Number 7, Better Give It, is another of these big chances for the Emma Stewart and Clayton Tonkin stable tonight. They've also got Bollinger Baby in the race, but Better Give It, she is one of the better mares going round at the moment. She too has come out of a little bit of a form slump to get back to her very best form, although it's going to be hard tonight from barrier 6 outside of the front row for Better Give It. Jillaby Ablett, what a return to racing. Really tough win, absolutely bolting outside of the favourite last week, and finished off the race strongly to win, albeit narrowly. Can only be fitter for that. This is a harder race and has to come from outside of the back row. And Donegal Delight, the former Kiwi mare, well, we know her. We talk about her every week. She goes around every week. She's a lovely sit sprint mare. The little query is she's drawn inside of the back row. If Al Arlington leads and she gets to sit on his back, she'd be the the one to beat in the race. If our Arlington's headed off and Donegal Delight goes to 3 back on the inside, then you're going to need a fair bit of luck to get into the finish. I put them in 2, 7, 13 and 8 in race 5. We go to race 6 now tonight, and again we saw a couple of these horses go round last week. Astronaut and Good Time Jasper probably look the two hardest to beat, even though they have drawn wide. The 2200 metres will suit. Astronaut goes back from a terrific first outing in a standing start race to return to the mobile tonight. Astronaut's always had ability, but absolutely racing in the best form of its career now for trainer Hugh Cathels and also driver Glenn Hunter. So I've got a slight leaning towards Astronaut. Finished off the race really, really well behind Jillaby Ablett last week to just miss. Good Time Jasper, probably the most interesting runner in the race. Another from the Emma Stewart and Clayton Tonkin stable. 2 runs back from about 13 months away from the races have been good. Tremendous first up win, and then it was a really good performance last week when Good Time Jasper did all of the work and was only just edged out at the finish. The wide draw is going to be a challenge. There's no scratchings off the front row, so he will have to come from outside of the front row barrier 7. Western Rockstar, really disappointing. Didn't show any gate speed, buried back in traffic, and then finished off the race just okay. I'm forgiving last week. Too bad to be true. The previous form was good. You're going to go from odds on last week to probably about $7 or $8 tonight. And next best, Indy Barpoo, racing in a rich vein of form in easier races before making a mistake last week. Well worth another chance. 6, 7, 13 and 5 in race 6. We go to the 7th event here, and I'm going to take you back to a replay of my top selection, A Bet or Punt. Classy horse. In fact, one of the most straight-out talented horses in Victoria. This is back on the 16th of August in the Breeders' Crown Pacers free-for-all. XL Stride zooms away with a big lead. A Bet or Punt, only second up from a break in this race, continues to make good ground. Here's the last stages.
From A Bet or Punt, Suave Stewie Lombo, and XL Stride wins brilliantly. XL Stride first, A Bet or Punt's run second, third Suave Stewie Lombo, fourth in was Courage.
Just a few little form references there. XL Stride's one of the best horses in Australia. Suave Stewie Lombo ran third, albeit held up and closed late, but didn't make a lot of ground on A Bet or Punt. Suave Stewie Lombo's since gone back to Menangle and gone bang, bang, bang with a trifecta of wins and is headed towards the New Zealand Cup. You don't get much of a better form reference than that for A Bet or Punt. He is a classy horse. He is a potentially an absolute top liner if he puts a big campaign together. I think he'll win. He's one of my bets of the night tonight. Number 12, A Bet or Punt. Number 1, Bella's Delight, was really good first up from a spell. That was at Bendigo. Went back from a wide draw. Gave the eventual winner, Jamie's Boy, who led a really big start and flashed home in brilliant sectional times. She'll be fitter. Just where she'll get to from the draw is a question mark. If she can be behind the leader, that would give her a terrific chance. Victor's Delight, mixing her form, but it's largely because of where she gets to in her races. She's got really good gate speed. She might be a hope of leading here or even being behind the leader, and that would put her in the mix. And Jada Sun's interesting. Former top flight juvenile, first up from 16 months out for Emma Stewart and Clayton Tonkin, and comes into this with a really, really good Ballarat trial behind it. Still, for me, very keen on A Bet or Punt. 12 to beat 1, 2 and 3 in race 7. Let's go to race 8 tonight, and Tender Don was absolutely fantastic. Going to have a look at a replay from Tender Don last week, taking on Elegant Image. The previous week, Tender Don beat a much easier field. Elegant Image sat outside the leader. Tender Don sat on its back. Elegant Image showed ping and got a break, but Tender Don closes late. Here's the call from Dan.
Elegant Image is clear. Tender Don's running on, but Elegant Image has got it covered, and Elegant Image is going on to score nicely. Tender Don second. Pretty Little Angel Lies may have just held third in front of Abbots Hall. Earl of Monarm.
Pretty Little Angel Eyes ran third in the same race, and I think on what we saw, Tender Don is clearly the best of these trotters with no Elegant Image to deal with tonight. He'll be winning barring mistakes, and he doesn't seem to make them now. He's a veteran. He's doing it all well. He lacks a little bit of class. Elegant Image was too good for him last week, but Elegant Image is going as well, if not better than any trotter in Australia right now. Tender Don to win. Number 5 on top. Brief glance. Well, we gave it out as a big chance last week if it got its act together for Amy Tubbs and her dad Alan Tubbs. Brief Glance did. Has beaten Elegant Image in a Vic Bred final, and again, if Brief Glance can do it all right tonight, the only possible danger, I think, to Tender Don. Pretty Little Angel Eyes, ultra consistent, got the good barrier, can use it with gate speed, and then Mary's Pocket, who was in that same race last week as Tender Don and company, one spot further back in the field and worked home okay, but surely on what we saw last week, Tender Don would have Mary's Pocket covered. 5 to beat 1, 4 and 6 from 5 to beat 4, 1 and 6, I should say, from me in race 8. We go to the last of the night. I'll put the hands up here and say it's not an overly enticing race to finish up with. Got to call it how we see it. I'm going to go for Monica My Dear. Has really good gate speed. Has been going well without winning of late. Had to do the work outside of the leader last time and only just went down narrowly. Good performance there at Cranbourne to hang on and run second. Number 5, Monica My Dear. Now, the interesting runner is Will Atone, an 8-year-old who's only had 4 starts for trainer-driver Kevin Ford. Broke through, showed really good gate speed to lead and control the race at Ballarat last time out. Has to come from the back row this time, but looks to have a fair bit of upside. Not many of these do. Arcapango's got to be in the mix as well. And Snappy Pop, I thought, was okay when second at Cranbourne last week. Did the work and was just run down late by Giancarlo. For me in the last, 5 to beat 9, 4 and 6. Let's now go to the summary of the meeting. My best bet of the night tonight at Melton is very keen on a bet or punt there in race 7, number 12. Matty Craven is taking the drive, and best roughie, well, not really a roughie, but the equal best bet of the night from me in race 8, number 5, Tender Don. You saw the replay and you heard the reasons why. Now, my suggested quaddie tonight, I think you've got to go wide. I really do tonight. I can see it being a big divvy. It's a matter of getting some sort of slice of it. In the first leg, going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9 and 10, so very wide there. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 and 13 in the second leg. 5, 6, 7, 10 and 13 in that third leg. And then we're coming home. Even though I'm very, very keen on a bet or punt, I'm respecting Bella's Delight, number 1 as well, if she can sit behind the leader or even hold up. Numbers 1 and 12 in the last leg. $42 for a 10% share. Don't forget to check out all of the thoughts from the boys at Good Form, Andrew Evans and Jason Bonington. And don't forget as well that big $10,000 jackpot in the Big Six. You can check out all of the fixed odds markets about 10 minutes or so before each race tonight at tab.com.au. Good luck if you're having a bet at Melton's Tabcorp Park tonight, the first at 5:45.
This preview brought to you by Harness Racing Victoria.